for all the men in my family. My grandfather is the last of the original cowboys. He taught me how to ride horses shaped like tractors and how to slow down when I pushed the throttle a little too far. He taught me that the man should treat the shovel the same way he would treat a lady, because both are delicate instruments, and if you aren't careful, they have a tendency to break under your weight. You see, I come from a long line of men who use their hands as instruments. My father, he punches keys on calculators and writes notes on little scraps of paper in a language I can't understand because to me, it all looks like hieroglyphics. My grandfather, he wasn't the one who raised me, but he was the one who taught me what it means to be a man. A man doesn't just take things, he works for what he earns and listens to the world around him. I like to watch my grandfather walk across the ever-shrinking field he once claimed as a child, and I can't help but imagine that the man I follow is the one John Wayne wished he could be. Every bow-legged step is met with perfect concentration as a tribute to every wild horse that buckled under his patience down in Texas. Once, a stoic pillar of immovable mass, my grandfather leans against his steel rake and watches as I help him dig holes in the hot sun. We learn to communicate through clouds of dust and the thud of 80-pound pre-mixed concrete sacks. My grandfather, the keeper of time, the warden of August, the sleepy, shrinking giant, he'll tap his feet in worn-out boots caked with dirt like badges awarded for tours of duty. He'll bob his head in agreement with closed eyes for so long you think he fell asleep. And if you ask what he sees when he's just resting his eyes, he'll recall the weight of a Thompson gun and how it felt on his shoulders, or the sound his boots made on the cobblestone in the late German rain. But nothing could compare to the way his applied physics textbook felt in his hands when he got back to the States and was finally able to attend the university of his dreams. Maybe that's where my father gets it. They used to stay up late choking graphite from number 2 pencils, checking and rechecking numbers and equations like frustrated engineers until their hands were dirty and tired from wrestling with stacks of scribbled paper. I take after them both. I've learned to use my own hands as instruments, except I deal in prose. You see, these calluses come from holding the pen a little too tight sometimes, because I'm afraid that if I let go, they won't get to hear about the real man I have become. My scars don't come from inside some World War II paramedic's tent, but from paper cuts when I don't feel like my words deserve to share the white space on the page between my father and my grandfather's methodical coded language, but I continue to write anyway. Mostly at night, because that is how the men in my family have done it for generations. I will continue to drain the ink from my pens, being careful not to bleed out over their labyrinth of graphite and pencil shavings. I will write on the margins if I have to. I will weave my way in and out of formulas for turbines and bridges until my hands become stained and tired just like theirs. Because I come from a long line of men who use their hands as instruments, I just hope mine are skilled enough to carry on.